Hello and welcome to my playthrough for Red Dead Redemption 2. This was one that I have been looking forward to for quite a while. I am speeding up the footage here in a couple spots to kind of condense the early part of the game because it is pretty lengthy. Also, I don't want to spoil too much. Not sure I'm going to do that all the time, but there'll be certain places just to kind of keep the flow going. For those of you that have played the 2010 original, then you know how anticipated this game is. It is certainly one of the games that I have been most excited for. I was extremely excited at the idea that we were going to get it last year, and then of course it got bumped, and so here we are. But it's finally upon us, and so hopefully you can join along with me for a little while I do my thing. I'll play, give a little commentary, and have a little fun. So we open with a little text crawl here, and then we'll jump right into the beginning of the adventure. I will also apologize a little bit for some audio deficiencies early. Had to make some adjustments. As some of you may know from previous videos, I had to change software very recently, so some of my projects suffered a little bit because of the change, because I had to change in mid-cycle. But now that I'm using things, I have a little bit of a better system in place. Everything should go a lot smoother, and then we'll start to hopefully also see a little more output. But we open as the wagon train there is fleeing, and we start with chapter 1 in Coulter. And this is kind of the introduction of Arthur Morgan and the family that is Dutch Vanderlyn's gang. And basically, they've just fled Blackwater from the extremely mysterious Blackwater massacre, which was hinted at and spoken of in Red Dead Redemption 1. And Dutch is taking Arthur to head out, and this is our first actual bit of gameplay here. And we'll head off into the woods here, and immediately I'm struck by the detail that Rockstar puts into it. There's the lighting here. Look at the light coming through the trees, the light coming off of the lamps. It's just the wind blowing off the branches, the snow, the weather effects. It's pretty magnificent. Red Dead Redemption, the original Red Dead Redemption, as far as like the open world element game, is no slouch on beauty either. It's a really, really pretty game. This is 1899, the prequel, if you will. I always thought it was interesting that they were calling a prequel game Red Dead 2, but that's an introduction to Micah, and so we're riding off further into the snowstorm here, and we should be coming up on a little more gameplay other than just riding here in just a sec. But again, I'm just struck by the light off the moon, the light coming through the trees, the light of the lamps, the little prints in the snow. All of this just before we've even gotten to the wide world beyond where we are now. Probably hear my cat in the background making a bunch of unnecessary noise. And so we'll ride down to this house. We're introduced to the health bar. And this one has health cores. So that'll be interesting. The way that plays out is basically if you keep the health core up, when you take damage, it refills quicker. And so that's how that works. Come across this house that Micah said looks to be filled with song and potentially a party or something going on. We'll go on in there. And Dutch is going to talk to these guys. And Micah has found, oh no, that is a body. Oh, crap. And for those who have not played Grand Theft Auto in a while, or didn't play 2010's Red Dead Redemption, God, it's hard to say when you're trying to record. So I'll just shoot these guys. That's what I can do. That I can shoot guys. I can't talk, but I can shoot guys in the back. I love the big ruts, blood in the snow. And we'll search the house, go through and see that there was definitely a family here at some point. You can already see the level of detail, not just in the outer environment, but in terms of the inside, the little nuances, the searchable drawers, the pictures, all the little cabinets and the little bottles that are laying there. It's just, yeah, it's a pretty awesome thing there. So you may have caught it there for a moment. Dutch had me eat, and that of course refills the health core. So I'm gonna eat those beans right there. And now if I take any damage, as long as my health core is pretty full, that'll affect the regeneration. I think that pretty much got everything out of here. Gotta grab my meat. That's important. Go up here real quick. I said it. For those of you watching that have a sick sense of humor like me, I just grabbed my meat. For the 55 of you that have subscribed. And I thank each and every one of you for watching me grab my meat. So I'll head over to the barn where I'm sure absolutely nothing. There's the morality meter. We'll go into that more later. But I'm sure absolutely nothing exciting. Oh, crap! Oh, God. Our first bit of combat. And our first moral choice. As a member of the O'Driscolls, which is a opponent or a nemesis, if you will, of Dutch. And it gives you the option here to, once you've got the information from him, you can choose whether to choke him to death or set him free. And he tells us that they're here scouting out some sort of score. And since I'm going to try to play this with some morality, I let him run off into the storm. So now we're going to come in here. We're going to have our first interaction with a horse. And that horse it's a friendly interaction, but not that friendly. I have the peanut gallery here sitting to the side, chuckling at the thought of me making interactions with a horse. But I'm here now. This is going to be a fun episode. I'll lead this back to the house here. And clearly something's going on, so let's go in here. And it appears to be the woman from the picture. And she looks like she's been pretty victimized. So we leave, and her house is getting burned to the ground. And sadly, the shot of her husband. We take her back to the little coal mining place. Little abandoned coal mine, I think is what it was. Set her up for the night. And that leads us to the next mission. We're going to start right in. And that is Jack Marsden's wife asking us to help find John. Or excuse me, did I say Jack? I think I said Jack. Jack is the son. So this is John Marsden's wife, Abigail, from some of you may recognize her from the last game, mother of Jack, and she wants us to help find John. So we are going to go do just that. We'll go with Javier, who says that great line, which you didn't hear, but he talks about how if the roles were reversed, John would come looking for me, which is very prophetic, considering that Javier is one of the objects of John's quest in Red Dead Redemption. So see some more beautiful sprawling backgrounds here. We get a little bit of a tutorial with the cinematic camera and get to see just the depth and scope of these beautiful landscapes that Rockstar has put together. Again, the beauty of the details with the ravine. And we should. And to full disclosure, I have played a little bit of this to get a feel for it, so not everything is going to be first impression, but I didn't get too terribly far, so a lot of what you'll hear me react to is my genuine first reaction, so that's always good, I think. Alright, and that is a dead horse, which Javier tells us was similar or perhaps even the actual horse that John was riding when they left Blackwater. So we'll come along here. We'll pull our weapon off our horse. And we should go through here, walk along the path for a little bit. It's going to introduce us to the stamina bar here in just a minute, so we can get familiarized with that. And that is definitely an aspect that has become a signature of Rockstar's style, that incremental introduction of new elements. Whether it be stamina, or suddenly a new weapon type, or a new tool, or things like that. They'll just ease you into it a lot of times. Like climbing and stamina, like they just did. Eat real quick, bump up the stamina, start shouting for John. And here in just a moment, we'll hear the familiar voice, and there he is, John Marston, with those not yet scars, the wounds that become those iconic scars on his face. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful moment here. Carrying the bloody, beaten John. Been attacked by wolves. He's been shot. And here come the wolves across the snow. Go ahead and take care of these. Oh, shit, I missed that one. Got it. All right. Again, talking the detail here of this game is the blood on the shoulder from where I was carrying John. It's little detail like that. I think it's just they don't waste those moments. So I'll start riding. We'll get a little confrontation with this wolf here in a minute. We'll scare those puppies off. Haha. That's a bad joke. I'm sure I'll make lots of those as we continue. And we should almost be to safety here. And then we'll get John back to camp. And again, it's a little bit of a sped up version than how it actually goes, just because of the little software limitations and some problems that I had. But I appreciate you guys indulging, and I do promise it's going to get much more exciting once we get to the more free play elements. Because I'll be able to get back to having some game sound and not having to speed through everything. The other thing for me is, I want to make sure we keep the video pretty succinct, so you guys can enjoy certain elements of the game, but not sit there and feel like you have to watch long sections. So here we go. We've returned John, and that is going to call it for here. I'm going to see you guys in part 2. Thanks a lot.